Have you ever been told you were so mature for your age? Or maybe you were called an old soul? It sounds like a compliment, right? But for so many of us, there's a much more complicated story hiding behind that praise. Today, we're going to get into that often overlooked experience of what it's like to grow up just a little too fast.
Wow. I mean, this quote just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? That feeling like you were carrying a weight that wasn't really yours to carry. It perfectly captures that huge gap between how the world saw you and the quiet, heavy burden you might have been feeling on the inside. You know, it's such a subtle feeling. It's usually not one big, dramatic event. It's more like a slow, gradual fade-out, where the carefree, playful parts of being a kid just kind of slipped away without anyone noticing. If this question hits home for you, then I think this explainer is going to connect a whole lot of dots.
Okay, so let's talk about that praise. From the outside, adults probably saw this amazing kid who was super helpful, totally independent, and never caused any trouble. They basically saw a miniature adult, someone they could count on. But as we're about to see, that perception, well, it only tells about half the story.
And here is the other half. This is the disconnect. What they saw and praised as responsibility often felt like intense, crushing pressure to you. Their compliment on your maturity was probably just a mask for your own internal anxiety. And that independence everyone celebrated, for a little kid, that can feel an awful lot like loneliness. It's the exact same behavior, but experienced in two completely different and pretty opposite ways.
So this internal struggle meant that your nervous system was pretty much stuck in a state of high alert all the time. You were constantly trying to anticipate what everyone needed, managing big emotions, and not just your own, and always scanning the horizon for the next potential problem. It was basically a childhood spent on watch duty.
And this brings us to a really crucial point for today. If your entire childhood was spent being hyper-aware and on guard, then now, as an adult, does the simple act of resting feel wrong? Maybe unproductive? Or even a little bit dangerous? That's because your body learned that your value and your safety came from doing things. So to stop doing can feel like you're failing at your job, and it can trigger this really deep sense of unease.
So what's actually going on here? Is there a name for this? Why does it happen? Well, there is a key psychological concept that really explains this whole experience. And for a lot of people, hearing it for the first time is a huge aha moment. The term is parentification.
So what is parentification? Put simply, it's when a child is put in a position where they have to act like the parent to their own parents or their siblings. They're basically forced to step into roles they're just not ready for, taking on these huge emotional or practical burdens that really belong to the adults in their life. Let's see if any of these sound familiar. Maybe you were the emotional confidant for a parent, listening to all their adult problems that you couldn't possibly fix. Or maybe you were the family mediator, constantly trying to keep the peace between fighting adults. Or the peacemaker who learned to swallow your own needs to keep everything calm. Or even the household manager, taking on chores and responsibilities way beyond your years. These are all classic textbook parentified roles.
Now, it's so easy to look back at all of this and just see it as a story of damage or what was lost. But what if we try to see it a little differently? What if this wasn't some kind of flaw in your development, but actually a brilliant and necessary adaptation?
This is the core idea I really want you to hear today. Your system isn't broken. It's not faulty. It did exactly what it was designed to do. It adapted to your environment to help you survive. It responded to all the demands placed on it in the most effective way it knew how.
So, how did this whole process work? Well, first, you were faced with these adult-level responsibilities. Your system read this as a constant, low-level threat that it needed to watch out for. So in response, it built strength as its default setting. Resilience, capability, being super aware. And here's the key. The feeling of safety, of being able to truly relax and let someone else take care of you, that became a secondary skill, one that you'd have to learn much, much later in life.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's really focus on this powerful idea of adapted strength. This isn't about ignoring the pain or the difficulty of your past, not at all. It's about honoring the incredible capabilities that you built because of it.
I mean, think of it like this. That early responsibility, it wasn't just a burden, it was a training ground. It forged an incredible level of competence, empathy, and resilience in you. You learned how to handle a crisis and manage complicated situations way before your friends did. That is a seriously powerful skill set to have. This right here is the ultimate takeaway. Yes, it was hard, and yes, it absolutely came at a cost, but it did not break you. It built you. It built you into the uniquely strong and capable person you are sitting here today. The challenge now isn't about trying to erase that past, but learning how to integrate it.
And that leaves us with this final thought to take with you. You've already got the strength. That part is second nature. It's deeply ingrained. The work now is to consciously and intentionally use that incredible strength to create the safety you didn't have back then. To finally learn that it's safe to rest, that it's safe to have your own needs, and that it's safe to let someone else be